Hello and welcome to my channel. In this tutorial we're gonna do this very easy stitch, 1 row repeat. I'm gonna work with a 4.0 millimeter crochet hook, and for this stitch we're gonna chain multiples of 3 plus 2 more. So I have here 15. I'm gonna chain 2 more chains. We're gonna skip the first chain, and into the second chain we're gonna do a single crochet. And in this row, for this one, we're gonna do single crochet in each chain. So you move to the next chain, single crochet, next chain, single crochet, and so on. In each chain, single crochet. Well, the stitch is reversible. You can use this for a scarf, for a hat if you like, for many things, a blanket. Well, keep in mind this stitch is gonna eat some yarn, so if you have, let's say, yarn that you don't like anymore or you want to get rid of, you can use that yarn maybe with this stitch or some other stitch, and you go and buy something new yarn. Okay, the last chain we're gonna do single crochet also. Okay, now we're gonna chain 2, turn your work, and into the first stitch right here, the first stitch, we're gonna do a slip stitch, a half double crochet into the same stitch, and into the same stitch a puff. So once, twice, and 3 times. If you want the puff bigger, then you go 4 times or 5 times, whatever, it's up to you. Yeah. So now yarn over and pull the yarn through all the loops, chain 1. Now we're going to skip the next 2 stitches, and into the third stitch we're going to repeat slip stitch first, half double crochet into that stitch, and a puff into this. So once, twice, and the third time pull the yarn through all the loops, chain 1. So skip the next 2 stitches, and into the third I'm gonna repeat slip stitch, half double crochet into the same stitch, and a puff. So once, twice, and the third time pull the yarn through all the loops, chain 1, and we're gonna repeat. I'm gonna skip the next 2 stitches, and into the third slip stitch first, and half double crochet and a puff. Chain 1, and so on. Skip the next 2, and into the third we repeat. We're gonna do a slip stitch, half double crochet, and a puff. Chain 1, and now at the end we're gonna skip. We have 3 stitches left. We're gonna skip the next 2, and into the third, the last one, we're gonna repeat. So this one is gonna be a little bit, just make sure that you have 2 strands on. Slip stitch, half double crochet into that last stitch, and a puff. And the third time pull the yarn through all the loops, chain 2, turn your work. It's gonna look like this. And now we're gonna skip the first 2 stitches. So 1, 2, and into the third, which is the slip stitch from the previous row. So we're gonna skip 1, 2, and into the third, which is the slip stitch. We're gonna repeat slip stitch first, half double crochet, and a puff into the same stitch. So once, twice, and the third time. Well, you're gonna have to be careful when you do the slip stitch to make it a little bit loose, because we have to put into that slip stitch so many stitches that it's going to be hard to get in. and pull the yarn through all the loops, chain 1. We're going to skip the next 2, 1, 2, and into that slip stitch right here we repeat. So when you do this one, this loop should be a little bit loose, yeah, and then a half double crochet and a puff. So once, go for the second time and the third time, chain 1, and again I'm going to skip the next 2 and into the third. So when you have to do the slip stitch, leave this a little bit loose, that loop, and then pull, and then half double crochet and a puff. Again, skip the next 2 stitches and into the third. I'm gonna repeat. One with this one is gonna take a lot of yarn. So I think for a scarf it's okay. It's gonna look like this. So we're gonna keep doing like this. Half double crochet and a puff. And at the end you're gonna go right here. You're gonna skip 1, 2 and into the third right here in the corner. You're gonna repeat slip stitch, half double crochet, and a puff. So once, twice, and the third time. So now if you want to do with many colors, the way I did the sample, I had only 2 rows of this design, whatever, stitch. So 2 rows, and in here I attach the new color. So when you have the puff, you attach the new color and you continue. Now depends, you can change every row, but you're gonna have to go here at the beginning, or every 2 rows, like even number rows, 4 rows, 6 rows, and so on. Yeah. So I'm gonna pull the yarn through all these loops. I'm gonna chain 2, and you repeat. You skip the first 2 stitches, 1, 2, and into the third, right here. You're gonna do a slip stitch, half double crochet, and a puff into that same very stitch. I'm gonna chain 1 and you're gonna repeat. Skip the next 2. Well, you just make sure that you go into the slip stitch. So this is how it looks. I'm sure you will find something to do with this this stitch. For a scarf, I think it's nice, and it's quite thick. Yeah. Okay. Well, thank you for watching. Have a good day. Bye bye.